State of Affairs is pleased to welcome for the first time, will not be the last, Zakiya Smith Ellis, New Jersey Secretary of Higher Education. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Describe your role.
So the Secretary of Higher Education is supposed to provide advice to the governor and really to the state as a whole on the direction of higher education, policy for higher education, and making sure that our students are successful while they're in college.
Yeah. Affordability, a huge issue, right?
It is a huge issue, especially in New Jersey. New Jersey actually has a higher tuition rate than many other states when it comes to going to college. People pay more here than they might otherwise, and that's a challenge because we want more people to go to college, and if they're scared by the price, then it can be daunting for people.
But, Madam Secretary, is that what you go by?
Oh, whatever.
Let me ask you this, Secretary. The gap, the racial equity gap as it relates to those who are going, who are not going, who can't afford higher ed. Talk about it.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of great things going on in the state. Great institutions of higher education, actually overall high completion rates, more people graduate here than in other places. But when you break it down by race and income, a lot of people who are from lower income backgrounds can't afford to go to college. And when you look at who goes to college, we have a lot lower college going rate in the racial minority groups and in people who are first in their family to go to college or lower income areas. So we've got to
What do we do to break that down? What do we do to improve it, if you will?
I think we've got to increase affordability. So we've got to improve affordability, and then we've got to acknowledge it, right? We've got to go to places. I used to be a college counselor, so I used to go to high schools in East Boston and help a lot of immigrant kids, a lot of people who don't really have any experience with college, and you've got to help them understand what is it to go to college, what does it mean. It's just a whole culture around going to college.
You know, it's interesting. We've had people on who have very successful entrepreneurs. Gary Vee, check him out. He's an entrepreneur who's out there. We had him on our other show one-on-one. He's like, you know, college is overrated. Because you spend all that money, you got 100 grand, if not more, in loans. Why don't you just go out and be an entrepreneur? Use that time, use that money, use that energy. Stop with the studying. It's not for everyone, you say.
So I think we know that there's an increasing, the way our economy is going, it requires people to have more than a high school diploma now. Like, you know, my dad grew up in Akron, Ohio, and back then, you know, you went to high school, you got a great job working in manufacturing and, you know, tire companies, and those jobs are just not here anymore. The kinds of jobs that are growing are the kinds of things that require you to kind of use more of your brain than your hands, or a skill. But it has to be something that shows that you know something beyond just the high school diploma, and that's just the way the economy is changing. So
what is that? Is the higher ed curriculum designed to do that enough?
Yeah, well, I think we need to do more of that. We need to do more of keeping people in college engaged in the world of work. People should have internships, they should have opportunities to understand what it's like to work, but also the value of kind of just going to college. And it doesn't have to be a four-year degree. It can be community college. It doesn't
have to be two?
Yeah, it can be a two-year degree. It could be a credential. An apprenticeship. So I think of college as kind of anything beyond high school, post-secondary, anything beyond high school is really what we need more of today.
We're talking about talking to the New Jersey Secretary of Higher Education, Zakiya Smith Ellis. What is 65 by 25? So
it's the state's post-secondary attainment goal. The percentage of people in the state, adults, who have a post-secondary credential. So something beyond high school, whether it's a certificate or an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. New Jersey's higher than many other states. Only places are like DC and Massachusetts that are higher than New Jersey currently, but we're still around 50% right now. So you think about it, only about half the people in the state have anything beyond a high school diploma.
We've had several presidents, leaders of higher ed institutions who talk about these issues with us. And by the way, go on our website at steveadubato.org. You can just put in higher education discussion. You'll see some of those conversations. Many of them talk about the brain drain. They talk about how many really, really good students who graduate from high school in the state of New Jersey. I believe more than any other state in the nation, we lose many of those kids to other places. Now we have, our kids who are, you know, 14 and 16 right now, they start talking about other places. I'm like, hey, what about? And I'll start naming places in New Jersey. And that's me. I'm a Jersey guy doing Jersey TV. The question is, it's not about me or my kids, but what is the struggle to keep our kids here in New Jersey to go to school?
You're right, New Jersey has one of the highest rates of, you know, students leaving the state to go to college.
Is that the brain drain?
It is, that's part of it. I mean, now you could also attract people from other states. There are some states that do that. They get people from other places to come here. But New Jersey's high schools are fantastic. So the K-12 schools, everybody from every other state wants New Jersey kids. They recruit from New Jersey to go to Maryland, to go to Penn State. They recruit, they come
So
to
we
New
have the
Jersey.
smartest kids.
You've got the smartest kids, and we got to keep them here. But everybody else wants them, so that's part of the issue. Is that we've got such wonderful kids here that other people want them. So
Is that
we
a
gotta do
marketing
better
thing,
job.
Secretary?
Part of it.
That schools need to make themselves more attractive?
I think we have to sell the schools a little bit to help the students understand, what if you're from South Jersey, maybe go up to Montclair State and see what is that they have? What are the programs that they have? But also, I will say it's an affordability issue. Because if you're looking at an out-of-state institution and an in-state institution, and the out-of-state place is not that much more expensive than your in-state place, it makes that decision a little bit easier.
But isn't it fair to say that the level of state funding to higher education is a huge part of this? Many of those same presidents we have had on from colleges and universities in the state said, look, state funding to higher education continues to either be flat at best and to be decreased in many cases. What are the plans of the Murphy administration to change that?
Yeah. The state funding is an issue, and as the institutions have grown, that funding per student has declined. So, it's one thing to get, let's just say it's $100 million when you have 10,000 students, and those aren't the ratios.
Right.
But then if you have, 20,000 students, that same amount of money goes less far. So that's part of the issue is the funding per student, and we don't really have any rational basis for funding right now. There's no funding formula, and that's one thing I've
What's
talked
this thing
about.
called outcomes-based funding?
Outcomes-based funding is one way that some states are trying to improve college completion, get more people to graduate, close gaps in who graduates in terms of racial minorities and others. So by rewarding those institutions that do a good job on things that are priorities for the state, you're able to kind of pay for what you want.
Before I let you out here, you're from Georgia originally.
I am.
You said that New Jersey is a very friendly state.
It is.
Make the case.
Well, I've been more welcomed in New Jersey. The South has a way of saying that they're welcoming and not really being that way. I've been more welcomed here than almost any place I've ever lived.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. We live in Medford, and people there have just been, our neighbors are great. It's been a really nice place.
Well, we've been speaking to the Secretary of Higher Education in the state. New Jersey has a significant number of private independents?
Yes, independent
publics?
colleges. Yeah,
right?
Colleges. We've got 56, well, depending on how you count. We also have a lot of yeshivas. So there's, if you include those into the mix, there's over 80 colleges in the state.
Not to mention the county community colleges as well.
Yeah,
That system's huge.
Yeah, there are 19 community colleges.
And they all fall within your jurisdiction?
Yeah, I work with all of them. I don't tell them what to do, but I work with all of them, yeah.
Well, Zakiya Smith Ellis is New Jersey Secretary of Higher Education. I want to thank you for joining us on State of Affairs.
Thank you.
You have an open invitation.
I would love to come.
You got it.
anytime.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by Georgian Court University, Englewood Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Resources, New Jersey Sharing Network, NJM Insurance Group, and by Adler Aphasia Center,